Welcome to Weaving the Magic and today's pick a card reading. I've not done one in quite a while, but this one jumped out at me today screaming that it needed to be done. So we've got 3 different world cards here because the world is opening up. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot in the air out there, in the ethers, in the real world, where the real physical structures of things are actually changing and altering. So I find it very fitting that the world came through to me today, saying, it's opening up. The new world is yours. This is the world that you get to choose, that you get to live in if you so desire. So I invite you to choose a pile based on what you see here, based on what you feel here. I'll give you the deck selection. That's the main deck that I'll be using in each reading. So for pile 1 here, we have the True Black Tarot. I'm going to pick this card up and move it around so you can get the full scale of this. It is so shiny and luminescent. This world card came out in one of the archetype videos I was doing today and inspired this reading greatly. So that's pile 1. Pile 2 is from the Mythic Tarot with the Ouroboros, one of my favorite symbols. I mention this so often in all of my readings. You've got Mercury and the Merkaba there for anyone else interested in the rest of those symbols. World Serpent. And then pile 3, we have the Under the Oak Tarot. And this one is new to me. In the rest of this deck, this main figure is blind. Her eyes are covered and she is blind. And here in the World card, she is not. So for anyone drawn to that imagery or meaning, pile 3 with the Under the Oak Tarot. I'll leave these cards here for a moment so you can make your selections. You can head over to the description box for the timestamps, and I will see you in your reading. I'm so excited to see what comes up. Okay, if you chose pile 1 in the True Black Tarot, this is your reading. I'm going to be shuffling cards here while we're starting and kind of just explain the arc of the reading. We're really going to look at first, these first couple cards out are going to be, what are we completing? What is the completion cycle? The world is always talking about something that has finished, something that has solved or resolved, something that's ended so that a new thing can begin. There's always a continuation of the cycle. So if the world is opening up for you, what is the chapter that is closed out? What is the chapter that is being closed? What is the threshold you stand on now? And where do we go from there? So starting first with the closing chapter, what is the thing that's ending from my pile 1? Queen of Cups. Interesting. So this is building emotional awareness, building emotional reserve, but also being aware of what emotions are yours and what belongs to others. There's lessons around caretaking, of being the one that needs to show up and provide, but then the challenge of doing that, providing for other and neglecting yourself. This whole arc, this whole momentum is about the feeling state and harnessing your ability to stay within it. The Queen of Cups can feel the emotions without escaping, running, avoiding, or moving to act on them. Everything kind of just is there. And it's like about meeting yourself in it. Look at how her head is turned and the eyes are covered with the hair, but she's so curious, you can tell. And there's this very big fish that she's holding back, reserving it a little bit from the little one, because she's curious about the power dynamics of emotion within her and how the emotion moves. So you've become an emotional manifester. You're an emotional manifester. You've been learning how to manipulate, for lack of a better word, and I know that's emotionally loaded sometimes, but manipulation is a word of the magician. You manipulate your environment. You manipulate the perception. You've been learning how to manipulate your emotions, and not so much manipulate your emotions, but to allow your emotions to inform you of how you're manipulating the world is going. What are the words I want to use for that? Let me see a card here for what's being left behind. What's like not following you into this next opening of the new world. Let's get a card for clarity. And this is the Four of Swords. Yes. This is the Four of Swords. Ooh. It's about being unbothered. Oh, okay. So this Four of Swords, Four of Cups, it gives me a Four of Cups, but it is the Four of Swords. This feels about being emotionally unbothered. This is like an apathy. This is like you're so intelligent and you know that there's no way out of the proverbial suffering of being human, of loving and the hurt and the wound and the feeling all of the world and the feeling all of it. There's no rest for the weary, in other words. But that's a mentality that's being left behind. That you can't rest, and that you always have to be sharp and clear, and that you have to be the established order and the structure and the provider of the emotional clarity for other people. So you, pile one, are coming from a place where in life you've been an emotional caretaker. You've been providing for other people the motivation to become and the incentive. Like, I perceive you as the archetype of the spiritual, I'd say warrior, but there's not aggression. The spiritual warrior, because you're a lover that loves. And you give and you give and you give, and you've finally learned how to stop overgiving, and you've finally learned how to hold yourself, and you finally learned so many things. But it doesn't mean that you have to like just be, what am I trying to say? It's like the smarter you are, the more painful life gets. That's true, but that's the old mentality truth. That's the old world. That was true. That's what's ending. That's what's completing. That's what you're leaving behind. Is the fact that the more intelligent you get, the more clear, the more on par with your own true capacity, capability, your own highest self that you are, the lonelier you get. That's the old paradigm. That's the old way. So where do you stand? What's the threshold right now? And for this, I'm going to actually switch to the Landscape Tarot because I want to ground this card. Right now is the threshold moment. I love looking into the future. I love knowing what comes next if and when I follow this trajectory, but also what's the most important is where you stand right now, because only from the clarity of where you stand right now can you make any concise determinations about what you actually want. And that's the only thing that you should base your future upon. What do you want? Because no one else has to choose, no one else gets to choose, and you're the only one that has to live with it. So where's the threshold now? Oh, look at it. Look at it. It's so beautiful. I love the True Black Tarot. Please don't get me wrong. And also, this pop of color with this bright white and all of the possibilities of this dandelion. And what was I just saying? This threshold moment is where you stand right now, and it's based on what you want. And the Page of Wands is looking at, what do I want? But look at the creature that it is. It's not a fierce, alpha, dominating predator, like apex predator in some environment that it's got to like scrap and scrape and survive and do and work. It's like a little prairie dog in a puffy little field of whatever kind of stuff that is, holding this dandelion and just looking at it. And look, the wind's not even blowing it. There's no challenge. And maybe there is challenge. Maybe there's all sorts of adversity. But it's about being in the presence. It's about being in the, there isn't a better word, in the presence. Being the presence of innocent curiosity. Like it's the difference between knowing like, wow, I'm a tiny speck in the universe and I am so really, in the grand scheme of things, completely insignificant. It's the difference between feeling sad about that, like you don't matter, or feeling liberated about that, like I don't matter because I can't get it wrong and I'm not that bad. And even if I do hurt somebody's feelings, or something that somebody else doesn't like, or I break the stability or the stagnancy or the structure that kind of feels like it's kind of sort of stable, but it's not. Because I took a whim on my happiness, and I decided, like, I want to do this instead. I want to frolic in a field and blow dandelions and stuff that didn't make sense, but it was whimsical because that's what I wanted. I feel like the world is opening up to you the vision of the life that's possible when you don't have to, period. Whatever that means for you. What's possible when you don't have to? That's what the world is opening up for you. That's the moment you're standing in right now. And it feels like there's a need to soften into this creature. Here's the queen, that you've been, and it's like naked and vulnerable and owning it and all of that. And also, it still has to play the role of the feminine and maybe the mother and maybe all these other things. But who expects what of a prairie dog? Nobody. Nothing. Frolicking. Whimsy. Wisdom. Not wisdom. Whimsy. So I'll jump back to the true black for the next card, which is, what is the world opening up to you? What is the world giving to you? What are you being... What is the world in you that's being opened by the divine flow of curiosity through your exploration of it? Being this Page of Wands, standing at this threshold moment. Bunch of cards came out. 4. Will I sling it? Yes, I will. Let's do it, because it came out. The world wanted to give you a lot, apparently. So who am I to limit what you can receive? You know what I'm saying? So you've got the Empress. Oh, wow. Those of you that chose this pile, like, I want to live vicariously through you, and I am. This is my story, too. So I love it. I've got the Empress, the Two of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. Okay, so the world is giving to you the opportunity to dissolve old contracts that were written subconsciously or unconsciously. See this V? V for Vendetta. 5 Wands. This is contrast. This is controversy. This is the wound that created an origin story of the Empress, divine being that you're becoming, because you can balance. You can balance animal and human. You can balance your value versus your nature, and you don't have to exchange it with anyone because it comes from you. You are it, pure and naked on your throne of gold foliage and leaves. I love this. I'm going to dive further into the symbolism. But this is, again, the rewriting of the contracts of what challenges you chose to come and endure, and a rebalancing of where you truly deserve to sit, of the throne and the status that you hold. And this isn't about how it's perceived from the outer. There's one figure, and feminine figures too, which doesn't mean, you need to be female presenting in order to be this resonant thing. This is all about I want to say reclamation, and I also want to say renaissance. I want to say this is about the tipping of the scales, the rebalancing, and the divine justice for the feminine nature, but not this like wispy, ethereal, loving everyone, sentimental, providing for others. The feminine nature that wants to have an adventure, that doesn't like stagnancy, that doesn't want to be held in one place, that doesn't want to just be held as this beautiful, seen but not heard from thing that we've been relegated to so often. Old contracts. 5 of Wands is controversy, adversity, and look at these 2 wands are nature. And this one is stronger than this man-made sphere. This one got broken by a man-made sphere, but look at this central one, which is a staff made from nature, man-made to hold the divinity. It's a rebalancing of this thing that's been one-sided, where you're constantly giving and being extracted from, and a reclamation of the throne that you ought to have been able to sit on, Queen Bee, Look at that in the background. And not in the way of like, you want to control the hive mind either. Because F that noise, if I may say so. This is too wild for that. You're not building a throne room inside of a stone castle. This is homage. This is an offering. This is a sacrifice. This is an offering on the altar being made to you. What is this? Like a massive, I'm sure it's a pomegranate, grape, fruit, some vine, melon, whatever it is, divine abundance. And you're like, oh, me? Yes, here. Open. I'm opening. This is me. There's always more of me to open, and I'll do it my damn self. Thank you very much. I don't want anybody else pulling me open anymore. I will do it myself. I'll show those who come and bring me offerings the love and the nurture and the goodness and the abundance and all of the harmony that I've cultivated for myself. When you show me what your contract is, and I've decided whether it stands or not. Wow. So then, what's the one last card? What is the action or no action? What is the knowing? What is the embodied knowing that brings this home for pile one? What is the being? What is the embodiment? Thank you for showing up so strongly in this reading. And this is the Five of Swords. Okay. All right, so this is about your own central integrity. This is about having an inner strength without tethers, without needing support. Without needing support that looks like the old way of traditional support. Because the support you need comes from a different place. It doesn't come from being bound and tethered, and it certainly doesn't come from being the support rod for the others that would feign being the support. All of the support I'm saying is like, look at, this is 4 in the background. 4 is supposed to be a number of stability, but it's also, again, stagnant. It's also like something that can hold you down, tie you back, where 5 is a catalyst. It's meant for change. It's meant to change something up. And all of this was what was forging you the whole damn time to be your own inner clarity, to gain your own inner clarity, to have your own inner clarity. Because this, again, was an emotional mastery experience that you undertook. You walked the road of emotional mastery, of being able to hold the both things being true, me and them, us and it, all of it, okay? All of the dualism, all of the duality, all of the dynamics of both and to be the soft and gentle that knows that it all exists in divine rhythm. This whole experience of that being burden and that being like extracted from you has become this path of I'm no longer becoming. I am harmony, in balance. And it's based on my integrity, it's based on my knowing, it's based on the clarity of my knowing who I am, that I get to choose. I get to choose what adventures I want to have, even if it rubs other people the wrong way, or even breaks them down, or even breaks me free of them, even if it takes something that was the ancient status quo and liberates me from it, even if that hurts, even if that feels like I'm being arrogant. How dare I have the audacity? Because why would you not have the audacity? You're the Empress. Have the audacity. That's what this spread is opening up to you. Have the audacity. Embody the audacity to be bigger than, better than, stronger than, and not in the masculine sense where I now need to dominate other people. No, I just want to grow in my own mother-loving garden without anybody else telling me what it's supposed to look like, when and how I'm supposed to tend it, what the seasons mean to me. Get out of here. This is my garden. It's mine. Get out. To rewrite the contracts. To fend off, defend yourself, develop the magician status, the Empress magician status. Again, whether you're feminine presenting or not is totally irrelevant. This is the feminine portion of you that says, I get to receive and I shouldn't have to work for it. I get to receive and I shouldn't have to exchange for it. I get to receive and I will never beg for it. I won't beg for it. I don't beg for it. It is natural to me. It is inherent to me. It's what's been growing me all along. The thing that knows, I am her. She is me. This is nature. It's my nature. I deserve. And so I am. And so I receive. And so I reap what's been sown in me this whole time. The world is opening it up for you now. And all you have to do is have the audacity to claim it. I have a deeply powerful flood of emotion that if you're open to, I'd like for you to receive from me if you chose this pile. Because it's like a fire that if you want it to, I feel like could burn away the apathy that prevents you from this audacity. Because the audacity to say my life is mine is divine. And that's what the world wants for you. So make a wish on a dandelion, but know that that wish comes true. Don't hope. Don't wait for it to show up to know that it's true. Just know. Know thyself. You are the Empress in the garden. Pile 1, this was really powerful. Thank you so much for tuning in, for provoking this through me, for allowing me to receive this energy as well as you. If you liked this reading, if you have comments to share, if you'd like to share your experience, please do. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to tune back in and tap back in when you share your comment and allow me to feel that too. And that will only strengthen the resolve of this energy in every being that dare claim the audacity to own their own life. So let's make that stronger together by being it and living it and speaking it. I love you. Best of love and luck, and you don't need it. Best of love and will. And I'll see you in the next reading. Okay, if you chose this world card, the Ouroboros from the Mythic Tarot, this reading is for you. So while I'm shuffling here, I'm just going to explain the arc of the reading. Basically, we're going to get an idea of what is the chapter that's closing out for you? Because the world card is always talking about a completion. And so there's something that's ending. There's a journey you've been taking. There's something that's being left behind. And then we'll get to where you stand now, the threshold that you're at. Before we open up, what is the world opening to you? And how do you step off the threshold and embody that? So starting now here with, again, what's the chapter that's closing out? What was the journey that you were taking? What was this last journey all about? The Lovers as the succubus. How interesting. I really love this deck so much. It's rich, the mythology. The Lovers, the succubus. Wow. Okay, so right away, this is to me mirror journey. Maybe you had a twin flame experience. Maybe you've been seeing yourself. Maybe you're already in the Gnostic, Hermetic, all of the traditions that know this is an inner journey. But if it's a chapter you're completing and you're not there yet, my venture to guess would be that you've been seeing the mirror and confusing it for what it actually is. I'm going to get a card of what's being left behind before I speak more, but this is okay, I have two cards that want to come out. Three of Wands and the Two of Swords. Yes. Yep. Yes. Okay. So this is very much like the whole chapter that's closing out, and where you've been and what you've been learning is the divine mirror, the lovers, is you seeing yourself and everything in the world, and it reflecting back to you who you want to be, who you're afraid of being, what you can accept about yourself, the world, and others in it, and what you can't. And the Two of Swords and the Three of Wands showing up here with this is about an inner communication and building the ability for proper discernment of what you want to do, of what it means to you, of meaning making, of interpreting spirit and spirit's will for you, and not allowing that to be dictated by either your relationship with another person or your relationship with yourself. Ooh, and this is so interesting because this feels codependent. It feels like you're getting rid of codependency. You're ending a chapter of codependency, like you need someone else to be your ride or die and down for this journey of transcendence with you, or you can't take it for yourself. These two cards are the Libra Aries axis. This is self and other. Self and other. And again, like I said, the mirror gets confused. Gemini. Gemini is the twins. Well, who is it that I'm looking at if we're twins? I don't know if it's me or you, and that's the thing that's closing out. You're learning, you've been learning. You've been learning that spirit, source, is the true lover. Or maybe I'm telling you now. It's some of you are one way and some of you are the other, and I can feel it already. So for those of you who already know that you are the lover is you, and the lover is in all things, hold tight for a minute and let's catch up. And I'm smiling because I feel like I'm explaining this for the first time succinctly, and I love it because it's like the message of my lifetime. The all, the oneness that animates all things is my divine lover. It's your divine lover if you so choose it, but that's not my job or my business to even know. What I will share with you, though, is that it shows up in all different archetypes, all different elements, all different ways, colors, shapes, forms, and not forms. Just like it shows up as me, in me, because that all wants to experience all things. And one of the best parts I find about being human is that we get to experience all of this humanity. And the lover is watching us, beholding us the whole time, witnessing what we do. We're never alone. And when we're suffering, it's not because the lover wants to watch us suffer. It's because the wound is where the light gets in. The wound is where we get a chance to heal. The trap is where we get a chance to experience liberation. The dynamics, the duality of this earth world that provides us so much challenge is the antagonist that allows us to be the main character. It's the lover that provides us with the wound of separation from it and the game of hide and seek to find it. And what you've been learning, or what you've been traveling or journeying towards, is the ability to discern the spirit from the body. The lovers, the two selves, Libra is the two selves, the we, the them, the they, the us, versus the I, the one, the self, the I am. So it's seeing the lovers all, the plural, the God lovers in the one person's self, and not getting so attached to that one person. Does that make sense? Because I could walk down the street and I see God, for lack of a better word, the lover, the divine, in every single person. But I'm not going to marry every one of them. I'm not going to sleep with every one of them. I'm not going to be with every one of them, because I have discernment over who I want to actually attach that stuff to or not. I'm going to get a threshold moment for where we stand right now before I move forward. I'm going to use the Landscape Tarot because I want to land us. I want to ground us here on the earth with this card. So what is the threshold moment where we stand right now? Like, what is the integration of these lessons or these experiences? Because it's not always about learning lessons. Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Wands. And okay, I'm going to flip these because they had like come one way or the other, but it is definitely this way. And like I said, this is landing. All right. Okay. It feels like this has been really lonely. This has been really, really lonely. It's been, and look at the world card you chose is the Ouroboros because it's two. It's the world, but it's two. It's twisted. It's inverted. It's doubled up on itself, just like the DNA strand. Because we're human, we get to experience the duality, two X's and a one. Because there's duality and there's oneness. This whole thing is a romance with the universe. If you landed on this pile and you don't understand what I'm talking about with the romance of the universe, you just need to find a different pile because I'm not going to explain it any further. And I don't mean to like chastise or admonish anyone for not knowing. I'm just saying like I can't afford to explain it or I'll lose my channel, so I'm not going to. So this is you finding the lover in all things. And this is the second time I've mentioned it in a tattoo today, but I have a tattoo on my arm that says, "Find me in everything," with an open, empty cardboard box. Why? Because the divine lover is in everything. It's in the empty cardboard box. It's in the unopened one. It's in the dead leaves that smell like decay and fall, and it smells so good and alive. And it's also in the green leaves where the sunshine is filtering through them and they're still alive and attached to the tree. It's everything. The lover's in everything, and it's even in the burden, and it was with you in the burden. And I'm not religious at all. I quite frankly think that the Bible is filled with lies that were written by a lot of men, but that were originally based on something that's very, very true. So that's my take on that. And also, this reminds me of the Footprints poem. Like, why, when I look back at the story of my life, is there only one set of footprints in the times where everything was the most difficult? Why would you leave me? I didn't, it says, the divine lover. I didn't leave you. Those were my footprints. That was when I carried you. Love, my love, this is here and now. You stand at a threshold of understanding. Look at all these dark clouds, and is this an angel wing or is it a vulture? What do you think? That's what matters. It matters what your perspective is. I want to cry. I feel like I want to cry in desperation because I'm channeling the lover that sees you so sad and so suffering and so separate from it. And it wants you to feel it there. It wants you to feel it in the dark cloud. It wants you to feel it in the dark cloud, not because it's causing you suffering, and it wants you shrouded in darkness because it senses your suffering, and it's a dark cloud because you suffer. Not to make you feel guilty for causing it pain, because that's not the way this works. Whatever you experience, it gets to experience, and it doesn't get to experience anything without you. The divine all isn't human. It doesn't get to experience like a human does. It's an intelligence. It's a mind. It's a mind that sends frequencies and signals into animated objects with bodies because it doesn't have one. Your body feels sadness because it doesn't get to, but it senses you. So it sends you symbols, it sends you poetry, it sends you romance, it sends you messages through the field because it wants you to understand that it's there witnessing you, loving you, being for you. And this Two of Swords, where you're at, like the lesson that's integrated here is like taking the time to sit with the divine, with the spirit of it, and not just the body, so that you can actually integrate and discern what you want to do and how you want to live your life and what you want to devote to. There's a fire in the kitchen. Somebody's cooking something good, making dinner for your lover to come home to. This is the good stuff. This is the romance. And this Eight of Pentacles here, I don't know where I have the words. This is ancient. This is ancient. This is the first body. This is the body of, come to me, the name, or don't, that's okay. It's the primordial freshwater god that sacrificed, and its body became the earth. It gave its body to be for us to live. This isn't religious. This is romantic. This isn't romantic. This is divine. This isn't divine. This is Gnostic. I know. I know what I'm saying. Do you yet? Because that's the threshold you stand on. You've been invited. You've been invoked. You've been... You beautiful, lovely thing. You've been tossed around in bewilderment. And you've felt like a tool being used for people to play games with your heart at worst. And that's never what you were meant to be. You were meant to be a body for the lover to come into. And that's the threshold you stand on. So what is the world opening up to you? As I wipe the tears out of my eyes, because all of these messages have been really deep today, and this is the good stuff. This is what I came here for. This is the storyteller archetype that I want to embody, that the lover allows me to be. And wow, oh my gosh, I can't put these back. They all came out, so here we are. Let me try to fit these all. Let me move these over. So here's the world. Here's the lovers. Here's these and these. And then this is all going to come in right here. These are incredible. You have the Ace of Cups, which is new love, divine love. Love being issued out of nowhere, not coming from a human, coming from the divinity itself, like I've been saying this whole damn time. You have the Strength card, inverted, which is the strength to receive. To not show up for other people, but to open your own self to the intimacy, to open your heart, the strength to be vulnerable. North Node Leo, the open-hearted lion, the courage to be vulnerable, to say, I just want someone to love me. I just want to feel right for being vulnerable, right for wanting love. I want to feel vindicated in believing in love this whole time, even though I kept getting it piled on that no human person has been capable so far of loving me and not making it a burden upon me. That's what this feels like in extreme clarity. Every love you've ever endured was at least a burden, as well as being love. And divine love is so much not that. It's beyond that. And here we are again, the Ten of Wands. Again, the Ten of Wands, but look at it. Look at this. This is the primordial lover. This might be the dragon low. And I don't know enough about draconic mythology to make crazy assumptions, but I feel this dragon, and it feels like that to me, the creator of all, that safeguards and protects its own because it's loyal and its heart knows what it wants. And it's willing to endure whatever burdens it needs to be the provider, to be the lover. And this is what the world's opening up for you, not what it's asking you to be. This isn't making you become, it's giving you love. It's giving you strength. It's giving you the ability to be vulnerable. It's giving you protection. It's giving you fortification, resolve, strength, the tenacity and the ability to keep going. And oh, it's giving you a divine demolition, restructuring, destruction. Saturn and Neptune recently went conjunct in Aries. This is a big deal, a huge big deal, a really, really big deal, Gargoyles sit on the top of cathedrals. Cathedrals were not built just as places to worship. Cathedrals were built as places to communicate, to commune with, to be with, to live in frequency and resonance. They are sound healing chambers. They are resonance chambers. You're being called in a really big way, pile 2. You're not being called, you're being sung through. You're being invited to not be a tool, to be an instrument. You are Pan, like creating the instrument out of the pain and the longing for the divine lover that you couldn't have, but has been here the whole time, but showing up in a form that you hadn't been seeing yet. It wants you to see it. Look at this. The divine serpent. I don't say should, so I won't say should. I hope you research some dragon mythology. I hope you research the mythology of every single card on here. I hope that you deep dive head over heels into a romance you'll never recover from with the divine lover, because there's nothing in the world that's worth it more than that, in my personal opinion, which is very personal, I'll grant you that. And at the same time, if you're hearing my voice, you landed on this channel and you stayed this long, so it must mean something. Please love yourself with the ability to know yourself and your lover, because it really knows you, and it wants to show you the whole entire world. One last card I'm going to pull, and then I want you to open your own channel in whatever way. And if that means, like, please share your experience in the comments. Please share, like, you're a mad woman in the comments. You're absolutely insane. I chose pile 2, and then you lost me immediately, but I stayed just out of the horror show that kept unfolding, and I couldn't avert my eyes. And then some glimmer of something in there, like, made me leave this comment. I'd love to hear that, too, because this is madness. It's divine madness, and that's the point. That's why you chose the Mythic deck, because it doesn't make sense. It's not human. It's not anything that you've already seen before. Oh, this is sick and twisted and awesome and everything else all at the same time. Cannibal. The divine wants to devour your ego and replace it with itself. And I say that in an erotic, Gnostic way. It wants to devour you and leave nothing left of you. And you want that too. Because you're ready to unbecome all of the fucked up stuff that you used to be that you didn't like being anyways. And you're ready to be the embodiment. So 7 of Swords, and this came out reversed. You need to stop stealing your own bigness. You need to stop stealing your own weirdness. You need to stop, you need to integrate. Ooh. You need to integrate the dirty, the erotic, the divine, the different, the odd, the strange, the unacceptable, the things that other people would be like, oh, wow, that's odd. This is, whatever. And here I'm going to caveat all of this with, like, if you're a consenting adult playing with other consenting adults, wow. If you're a consenting adult playing with other consenting adults, there are no rules. Consent and adult being 2 really huge key words. But you've been stolen away by lesser gods, which are like playing small and people and things that are smaller than the mythology of who you are and what you really want to embrace and what you really want to be embraced by. It's like you've been standing around waiting to be claimed, but the whole time you've already been claimed, you're just not looking in the right places. Does that make sense? And if it does, hit me up for an astrology reading with, like, asteroids and all sorts of mythology, and I'm going to curate some sort of reading that I haven't made available to other people yet. And if you want to be one of the first to do that, exploring with me, and I'll even throw it out at an introductory rate of who knows what, hit me up if you're interested and you landed in this, because I've been doing that a lot for myself, and it is endlessly fascinating, and it would be for you too. Embody your bigness. Stop playing small. Don't give yourself away to lesser gods than the ones that have already claimed you, not because they're pissed off or jealous. They think it's adorable. They think it's adorable when you play small. They think it's hilarious that you keep settling for less than what you deserve, and not hilarious like they're making fun of you. It's just cute because this is a choose your own adventure story, and it's like watching an adorable thing get lost in a maze. But again, here it is. This is why it's not, it's not torture, and it's not like, oh, they're just watching you go endlessly in a maze. No, they're not. This is the world they're opening up to you. The tower in reverse. They're something in your life is being destroyed, being reworked, reconfigured, because it was adorable for a while, but they're sick of watching you suffer in the maze. You do no wrong in their eyes. You do no wrong in their eyes. You're not getting it wrong. You're not fucking it up. You're not taking too long. They're not impatient with you. This isn't some father that wants you to get it right and they're frustrated that you haven't yet. That's not it at all. This is the lover that sees you and your struggle and your pursuit and your willingness to challenge yourself and become. And it doesn't want to cut you short of your own adventure. And also it's willing and wanting to help you become and love yourself and embody and receive the love that it's always been pouring towards you the whole damn time. But it's ready, and so are you, to feel it, to bring it into life. Stop sleeping. Wake up. Wake up. I want to yell at you and hug you. I want to use the word like, it's like a divine dom. It's like a divine dom. You want to play submissive. It wants to play dom. And maybe you want to play role reversal. Wow, this took a turn for the wow. That's all I can say. Took a turn for the wow. So if you were here with me all the way to the end of this wow, I'd love to hear your comments, love to hear your feedback. And, again, if I'm just a mad woman, I'd love to hear that too, because I embrace that as the absolute truth, because it is. Anyways, thanks for liking this video, and if you had any interest in another pile, I will see you there, or I'll see you in the next one. Take care. All right, if you chose pile 3 in this world card from the Under the Oak Tarot, this is your reading. While I'm shuffling here, I'm going to kind of just lay out the arc of this reading. Essentially, the world card is always about some journey ending and another one beginning. So we're going to start where it ends, at the completion. What is it that you've been experiencing, the lessons that you've been learning, the thing that is completing now, and what are you leaving behind? What is the closure? We'll move from there into what is the threshold of the now, and then we'll end with what is the world actually opening for you, and how do you step into that? How do you embody that? So can I please get a card for what's closing out, the ending chapter, the old, the finishing, the completion? Judgment. Oh, yes. Judgment inward, the internal judgment. Working through shame, working through coulda, shoulda, woulda, should have been there, didn't do that. Is someone judging me? Is there judgment from something outside of myself? This is huge. All of these piles today have been like, everything in this whole reading has just been like, wow. This is the first time I'm seeing this card from this deck, and I am just going to keep taking it in. Tell me, please, what is it then that's being left behind? Because I want to weave these together. This is so excellent. Judgment with the snakes and the rabbits. It's all about curiosity. It's all about curiosity, and maybe that word doesn't initially strike something, but it's about, what have you been exploring in this life? What have you been doing? What are the rabbit holes you've been taking? What are the transformations you've been undergoing, or what have you not been transforming? And are you judging yourself for any of that? Are you judging yourself for how much or little you've grown? For where you're at in your phases of development? Do you think that somebody else is judging you? That's what this is all about, this whole card. And then what we're leaving behind, 10 of Swords, internal. This is crucifixion. This is the internal crucifixion, the mental, inward here. This is like your brain running the show, constantly judging yourself for what you think you should have known or should have done better or could have, would have, whatever. And it's the mental harassment all of the time of judgment. So, wow, do I resonate with this as an old chapter. This Judgment, Ten of Swords, I can't release myself from what I think I should have known better because, quite frankly, this combination is a lot of intelligence. You're very aware, hyper aware, so self-aware too. No one is more aware of themselves than you are, and it's painful, and it also keeps you trapped because it's based on a right or wrong, and that's not true. Discernment helps us navigate the world, but constantly judging and cataloging everything as right or wrong creates traps, and it leaves us cold and frozen in this world of like, in this world where we're always trying to make sense of everything and we're trying to spell it out and make legible when sometimes it's not about what it says or what it means, but what it feels like. And I feel like I'm going to get more cards in the feeling realm here as we move forward because this is a lot of mental sphere in this old chapter. What we're closing out, what you've been living in and what you're leaving behind. So what is the threshold moment? I'm going to use the Landscape Tarot because I want to ground us. And even these cards in this deck especially are pretty etheric and other-realmed. So the threshold we're at right now for pile 3, 3 of Cups, and the Hierophant reversed. All right, and so yes, here's the feeling scape. Here's the internal trust. And the mechanism that says it's not about thinking, it's about being present in the body. Ooh, interesting. All right, so 3 of Cups is like maybe you've started to find your community or maybe you've started to find your threads. 3 fates, the 3 paths, the high road, the low road, the middle path. And this is also the black, white, and the middle ground. This is the mediator of judgment. My feelings say that black is true, white is true, and also there's something else in the middle because they're both true at the same time, and damn it, that's messy. Can that be accurate? Yes, it is, which is why there's a third thing, which is the feeling realm, because the mind doesn't understand everything. It's only the mind. It doesn't understand the feelings. It doesn't understand the body. And even when it thinks it does, it's only basing its decisions on things that have happened in the past. You can't know the future based on the past. You can predict the future, but that doesn't mean you're going to be right. You're just making assumptions. And this is about following the flow. This is about traveling downstream. This is about being in the emotions and not just in the mind. So right now, you are immersed in the emotions, and I feel like you also have support. I feel like you've reached the breath of fresh air, you know, and you're in this place where you're actually like, it feels like on the cusp of seeing, on the cusp of knowing. For those of you who have watched the Game of Thrones, this reminds me of those trees that they went and prayed at, with the bleeding eyes and the faces and stuff. This was like a sacred tree to the one family, the Starks. And like, it might be the family that had the most integrity out of the lot of them, perhaps, but you know, you never know how that goes, and we do in that. But the Hierophant is about the inner wisdom and also the teacher, the outer wisdom, and this is nature. I mean, this is the wisdom of the tree. It's about being rooted and growing towards the sky. You know, it's about honoring all the elements. This needs water and air and fire, the sun, to grow. It needs all the other elements in order to be it growing as this element. And so there's this humility factor here. I feel like you're in a really beautiful, divine place. In a divine place of knowing yourself. This is really interesting because I don't feel a struggle here anymore. I feel like, because again, even in the thing that's closing out, the thing that you're leaving behind, the veil was already opening. Your eyes were already being opened. There was already this clarity coming through, even though it's been so much from the mental sphere. Like, you're so strong a being that you were able to even get so far with just the mental sphere. But now it's like somatics, embodiment. The actual physical senses are being engaged, and you're recognizing, that's it, the Hierophant. You're recognizing the God in your own sensory experience, and your own knowing journey, and your own wisdom experience, and the world is opening up to you. The death card. Okay. This sounds gruesome, but here it is. The world is not throwing you French fries, seagull. You're this divine bird that's stationed at this place because you know where these turtles go to lay their eggs, and this is like the most divine, delicious meal that you could possibly choose for yourself. That's one angle of this, okay? And you don't need to feel shamed, because does this bird feel shamed over being the kind of animal that it is and eating what it eats? No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel shame about that. It doesn't judge itself. It doesn't crucify itself, thinking I should find a way to be able to be all things and harmonize all things and not be wrong or bad at all and be completely aligned with my integrity and still be human. Because I have a news flash for you. It's not possible. By virtue of being human, we are fallible. We're soft and squishy. We're a paradox. We have minds and hearts, and they aren't coherent all the time. And even when they are, there's a bunch of other minds and hearts that aren't coherent around us that'll infiltrate the frequency, and I digress. But the point is, it's not your job to harmonize for everyone and everything. That's divine intelligence. That's the world beyond the world. That's the all that holds you in a mirror, and it sees you and it witnesses you. And it's not judging you for being or needing whatever part of the cycle you're at, or whatever part of the food chain you're at. And also at the same time, what if this turtle makes it? What if this turtle makes it? What if what's being offered to you here is death in the form of this bird? Seeing you, seeing how capable you are, tenacious you are, seeing where you are now, seeing you feeling it, seeing you getting it, seeing you being in flow. What if it's not your time? What if, where am I going with this? I feel like I'm being led to something. Okay, it feels like Enoch. I forget the actual words of what it says, what the translation is, but God came and Enoch was not. He took him. He went with. Enoch stopped being. But he didn't stop being. He died as a human. He was no longer human, but he became. He was. He went out into the ocean of the all, back to the wholeness, out of the egg and into the ocean. And death bore witness. Death bore witness. Why is this so poetic? All right. I need more succinct. You got to give me another card here, because you're throwing me into the weeds. And I have it and I can't translate it. So give me something less poetic to land me, because I did not land. Oh, well, I was using the landscape deck. That's why. And I want to use the Under the Oak. Oh, it's sitting right here on my leg. Wow, okay. Take what that means. It's like something seen right here, but I can't see it. There's something right here, but I cannot see it. And it's about this sensory experience of that Hierophant card. It's about being in the flow, 5 senses, being rooted like a tree, sitting and just observing nature. That's where I'm getting the witnessing. Okay, so please, what is the world opening up to pile 3? Very cool. Two of Pentacles. The balance. The ability to hold the balance without it burning through you. You're being gifted the both and. You're being gifted the capacity of holding the both and. And the both and is the madness. It's the madness of knowing that there's nothing wrong and that you're here to save the world all at the same time. And that doesn't make sense because it's madness. Let me try again. It's you came here as a human to experience being wounded so that you could experience healing yourself, all for the sake of having a very specific experience of living a life that you chose because it seemed to be the most fulfilling, rewarding, new trajectory that the all could choose for an individual to have. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't. But this is the madness. This is the thing. This is the both and. You're a human and you're not. You are a soul. You're a being before you were a human. And if you close your eyes long enough, you'll remember your divine spark. And then all of the things that you've been trying to make sense of, but you kept having a hard time judging yourself about, will start to make sense. Because it comes down to the truth of like all of the things are true. All of the things are true. And what's opening up for you is the ability to hold all of those truths and not get lost in the paradox and not keep reaching dead ends. And to just be able to see it all. Look at how elevated this is, this death card. To be able to see it all. Because that's all you needed was to be able to see it all. That's why the blindfold was happening and you're leaving, like this is the part that's ending. This is the chapter that's ending. You were sitting at the feet of judgment, learning how to let go of it. And the blindfold came off and you dove into the water like a baptism. And I'm not religious, but your own version of a ritualistic born anew. Being held by the divine threads. This is really cryptic. I feel like everyone that comes to this pile is going to have all of their own symbolism and all of their own messages with the stuff in here too. Because it just feels like such a symbolically delivered message. And I'm trying to make it less poetic, but it doesn't want to be. I'm being shown to hold it gently and loosely for you because you will bring it into earth in your own balance. It's going to wobble and fall like a feather into you, and it lights the divine spark. There was an Ace of Pentacles in a different pile. I think it was pile 2. I'm not sure, but it's very reminiscent of this stone here. I'm being told to hold this lightly because you're going to make your own meaning of it. And the point of the whole thing is that you're being gifted the opportunity to stop judging yourself, to stop judging the world, to stop judging your path, to stop judging the paths of others, because living in judgment sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It's brutal. It hurts. It's not fair. It constantly makes us feel trapped mentally and like we're struggling against life. And you get the Death card as what's being given to you, and the Two of Pentacles. This is the ability to balance life, the ability to feel like you have both feet on the ground in life. It's the ability to feel grounded and alive because death says, no, not your time. So what can pile 3 do? What's the action? What's the feeling? What's the being state of embodying this gift that's being given to you, the world that's being opened for you? How do you step those 2 feet onto the earth of this new world that is yours? 2 of Cups. Oh my gosh. Oh. Know that you were made for being loved. know that you were made for exchanging experience, feeling, and that what you experience creates ripple effects. And if it's judgment and mental anguish and constantly trying to figure out what's right, then you're missing out on all of the gentle of what's actually is, regardless of whether it's right or not. And what is are beautiful beasts. And there's scary ones, and there's darkness, and there's all sorts of other stuff, and there's beauty, and there's magic, and there's enchantment, and there's wonder, and there's finding and being found, and there's seeing, and there's growing and rising, and there's change and alchemy and newness. Two of Cups reversed. And these flowers, this is giving yourself your flowers, speaking to yourself, saying it in a mirror, almost honestly and literally, you beautiful beast. Please try it one time if you landed on this pile and let me know how it lands. You beautiful beast. Because that's the acknowledgement of the two sides. The ones that we often struggle to integrate, you know. Is this the snakes? Yeah, this is the snakes and the goats. There's like the animal side of us, the human side of us, the transcendent side of us, and the, you know, trapped, the dark, the heavy. The two strands of DNA. You beautiful beast. Creator of worlds, creation of the world, beautiful beast. It shouldn't be possible that you are, but you are. And you're beautiful. And you're a paradox that can only experience itself when you release the judgment of being yourself and just allow yourself to experience. Immerse yourself in the water. Sink into your senses, ground into them, and spread out into them. Give yourself the gift of feeling yourself and your own experience. You beautiful beast. Let's go enjoy this day. Let's go find some magic. Let's go explore. Let's go be together. Two of Cups. Seeing yourself. Holding space for your own experience. And not judging it. What a very interesting message. Very, very interesting. Again, I feel like there's so much symbolism that everyone will have on their own. I want to move this over here to bring it more central. So I'd love to hear your comments, you know, your stories, anything you've got to share. Wow. How very, very interesting. You beautiful beast. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I don't do pick a card readings often, but this one was so interesting. You might see another one again from me soon. So until then, take care.